Hey y'all, welcome back to the Film School Dropout. I'm your host, Jordan. I first have to start off with apologizing to my 3 loyal listeners. You know who you are, that I fell off, I fell off. And that's what this episode is about: the art of the fall off and the art of coming back. The past couple of weeks, or the past 6 weeks to be honest, have been a whirlwind to say the least. I graduated, I went to another graduation, I went to a wedding, I went to 2 different countries, 2 conferences. I did the most, okay? And I just got back to New York a week ago, got food poisoning, and now we're here. So I have a lot of pre-recorded episodes that I just haven't got around to editing yet, which this is not me making excuses, but it's just me telling you what's going on and little life update. But it's been really crazy. But I noticed this week, as I have been resting, recharging, I've been beating myself up a little bit because I have not been where I thought I would be with my consistency, with the podcast, with my short film. Whenever I first set out to make my short film, I thought I would be filming next week. Honey, the script is not even in a good place yet. And that's just what it is. And I knew I wanted to graduate and have this momentum around my creative projects. It's part of the reason why I started my podcast. And I do believe that momentum is still there. It just looks differently than what I expected. And that's because sometimes I have slightly unrealistic expectations for myself. And not that me being consistent or being diligent is unrealistic. I do think I can go harder. I can lock in a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I have to give myself grace. I did just graduate. I did show up for my community. I did spend time, expanding my horizons, trying new things. The time has not gone wasted. And I can be honest with myself about readjust your expectations for yourself. If you're traveling and on a plane every other week and you didn't pre-plan and have all your episodes ready to go, they not gonna get posted, babe. That's just it, So I've been sitting with that this week because I'm dang, I was supposed to be posting a podcast every week. I fell off. This isn't good. I'm disappointed in myself. But there's a version where that's holding myself accountable, and that's how we get to this episode today. But there's also a world where it's babe, chill. You can just keep going. You can pick up where you left off. And I think that's what I'm having to reconcile with. But I think that's something that a lot of creatives have to reconcile with sometimes, because there's gonna be parts of your life where you can't do everything. You can't get to everything on your to-do list. And that's just the fact of the matter. It doesn't mean you're not working hard. It doesn't mean that your dreams aren't gonna come true. It just means that there's levels, if you're going all in on being there for your family and showing up in your friendships, you might not be all in on your budget, because sometimes that looks like spending money, and buying flights or going out to dinners. And then there's eras where you're no, I'm locked in on my financial growth, and you have to say no to more things. It's all balanced. So in the past 2 months, as I've been graduating, I've been outside, and that's just the truth of the matter. I've outsided like I've never outsided before. And that's cool. I deserve to celebrate, deserve to have fun, deserve to show up for the people that I love. And it was a blast. Now I'm back, and it's okay, now I want to lock in. And I think a lot of times there can be a gap between the desire to lock in and actually locking in. At least I know there is one for me. And what I think lies in that gap is negative self-talk, a little bit of shame, a little bit of doubt, and sometimes for me, honestly, it's like being embarrassed. Like, I don't like not doing the things that I said I was gonna do. So that's something that, I feel within myself is something that I think speaking about and just calling a spade is healthy because it's also how you move past it. Like, I do think that in order to get to your highest self or, the most actualized version of yourself, embarrassment can't really be a thing. Or it should be an emotion that you spend more time with, analyzing, exploring, sitting with, and not running away from. It's okay to be embarrassed sometimes. And it's okay to feel like you fell short. It's okay to not be exactly where you visualized. I think with a lot of people that I know, we are in our late 20s, early 30s, there's different versions of our lives that we might have visualized at this point, whether it's because of Disney movies or because of what, the American dream is, quote unquote. And there's been so much that's happened in our lifetime that has changed what the norm is and what is to be expected. And that's okay. But because of that, a lot of us have had to shift what the version of our lives we thought we would have at this point. And we have to be okay with that, because if we are too stuck in mourning what is not there or what you thought would be happening at a certain point, you do not rest in what is to come. You don't lean into what you can create and what you can make out of your situation. That's more energy being siphoned away from what you can be pouring into. And it's the second half of the year, and I don't know about you guys, but I do feel like there is a shift for me mentally, especially given that the first half I'm in grad school, the second half I'm not. So there's a lot that I'm personally working on transitioning into. One, not being a student, figuring out what life looks like in New York, like not attached to my program. Also, just establishing a routine outside of a class schedule, and like having an open book for what is the next chapter here. I want to spend time freelancing and trying some like non-traditional working paths while I have this flex period. And since I've graduated, I spent 2 weeks working for these two film producers on a campaign they had for a documentary screening. And that was really cool. Learned a lot and entered into like a different world working with them. I hope to work on producing some projects. I have some ideas for photo shoots that will tie into my short film and things of that nature. But that's the thing that gets kind of hard. Like, for other multi-hyphenates out there, this is how I kind of ended up in the situation where I fell off on the podcast. I love to do so many different things. I love to wear many hats, juggle many projects, and that's great. But also, it's like, babe, you gotta focus. When it comes to locking in, you can't put a lock on multiple doors at one time. You gotta lock one door at a time. So that's something that I am really working on and that I've been sitting with over the past week is, what is my focus area? Like, what we doing, girl? And like, I know that one of the things is this podcast, because it's a way to show up for me. I'm just showing up out loud and like keeping track of my progress publicly. But this is a separate project. I believe that I can do this and have at least one other focus area. So one of those focus areas is fitness, but that I think is encompassed in overall like lifestyle and routine. And so there's room for one more thing, and that in theory is the short film. And now this is just me kind of like resetting and reprioritizing myself into working on that. But I'm not gonna lie, guys, writing is hard, which I'm sure anybody who writes and is listening to this knows it. And it's interesting because I've always come from the producing side. And in my head, I was like, if I can produce, I can write and direct. So let me just write something up and I'm going to direct it. And I could have done that. I still can do that. But as I've been writing, I'm like, wait, I can go harder, or like this can be better. And like now being in this seat, I realize like the analyzing and I don't want to say overthinking, but just the attention to detail that you have to have whenever you're writing is something I definitely underestimated. And to think that I could just whip something up that would be what I want it to be in a time where I'm getting ready to graduate, I'm traveling, I'm moving around. That was cute, that was cute. And it's okay. Like, that's something that I am saying here out loud. It's okay to shift your timeline. It's okay to realize you need more time to accomplish something to the quality that you want it. And that's where I'm at. So over the next, month, I will be refining the script, spending more time writing, spending more time in the gym, editing the episodes that are pre-recorded while looking for, or recording new episodes. And that's what we're going to do. And like, it's okay. I think like this week I was just beating myself up. I'm like, you haven't edited any of it. You have all this footage. Like, what are you doing? You need to lock in. You need to post your content. You need to be writing. You need to be doing all these things. And it's like, spending time in that place is only going to get you so far. Action, like, what can you do today? What can you do tomorrow? What can you do this week? Instead of focusing on the past, that's not going to get you anywhere. So that's where I'm at. And everything's going to be fine. And yeah, I hope that me being open about where I'm at in my process of things and some of my creative goals is helpful for other multi-hyphenates out there, because I know what it's like to have in your brain like all of these different projects and things that you want to do, things that you love, things that you enjoy, and only having so much time in a day, or like running yourself down to where you really can't do anything. You need to rest. You need to lay down. And like, but then you're laying down, you're like, oh, I should be working. And then you're working, you're like, oh, I should be laying down. And it's like, balance is the hardest thing whenever you are anybody, whenever you're anybody, balance is hard. But especially when you are in a non-traditional space, trying to figure things out, trying to make something out of thin air, balance is so hard. And like, knowing how much time things really take and being okay with pausing when you need to pause, but not pausing for too long, because it's you versus you. You don't have a boss telling you like, this needs to be done by tomorrow. You have to tell yourself that. Or you have to like build a team that's going to hold you accountable to tell yourself that. So these are some of just like the truths that are being revealed to me as I'm on this process, on this journey. And they're useful. Like, sometimes you do have to like have that moment where you feel a little humbled and you're like, okay, we're back to the drawing board, or we're somewhat back at square one. And that's okay, So especially at a time of year, like it's the half point of the year, if there's something that you've been working on that you need a quick reset on, a little reboot, nothing's wrong with that. You can reboot over here with me, because I'm rebooting too. And grace is the name of the game, but also like diligence, like you don't want to be falling off every time. Like, that's something that I don't want to be too lenient with myself, but for now I can, because it's like there were other obligations and things that were planned, and like there's only so much time in a day. But now that's not the case. Now I have a runway to be able to work on the focus areas that I spoke with you guys about. And that's it. Like, that's what we're working on right now. And I'm excited. I'm excited to establish some routines that allow and enable me to do the projects that I want to do. Because this past week, returning home from all this travel, I just laid down. I can't lie. Like, I laid down a lot, and it was great. And I'll continue to do that, but I also, gonna set an alarm or two for the next week. I'll let you know how it goes. And I'm gonna get the rest of these pre-recorded episodes out to you guys. Like, I am still a little embarrassed at falling off, but like, it's part of the process. And you fall down 7 times, get up 8, whatever the saying is, but it's true. It doesn't matter how many times you might take a break or step back from something, as long as you step back into it. And good things take time. Good things come to those who wait. Patience is a virtue. And like, these are all the things I'm telling myself as I'm dealing with myself. Like, it's not about the process. I don't want to be too lenient, but it's all about like telling myself it's okay if you are not reaching this goal in 14 days, in 2 weeks. Like, good things take time. Let it happen. Everything happens on God's timing. So it's okay. So that's just my reminders for myself and for anybody who might need that in this season. We are headed into the second half of the year. So let's run it up. Let's run that checkup. Let's do the things that we said we were going to do. You might have set a goal out at the beginning of the year and haven't locked in yet. It's not too late. You can lock in now. We still have 6 months to this year, and we still have the rest of our lives. But, it's good to think in time chunks at times, because it keeps you accountable. It keeps you like rolling. And yeah, I'm here. And thanks for listening to the Film School Dropout. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, follow, interact, something, please, Please is crazy, but, I'm here. We're outside. No, we're not outside anymore. We're locked in. But can 2 things be true at once? To be determined. But yeah, thank you guys. Missed you. And we are so back. And see you on the next episode. Bye.